Hey everyone, and welcome again to Master Tarot. My name is Libby. In typical Australian fashion, we've gone from pouring rain to absolutely glorious autumn weather. So it's that time of year where it fluctuates back and forth. So I've got a little floaty dress on today, and I'll get out into the garden a little bit later. What I wanted to have a look at today, a bit of a mixed bag. First of all, my heart goes out to those in northern New South Wales and Queensland who are once again experiencing quite devastating floods. We've been, the east coast of Australia has been under an La Nina system for the last 18 months or so. So we've had an extremely wet summer, wet last winter, wet this winter, so it's all been quite trying. However, on a positive note, it means our Great Artesian Basin, which is the big water system that sits under most of Australia, is filling back up again after a decade or so of being depleted. So that is a positive. It also means our coral reef, which has been bleaching due to climate change, is getting reprieve with some cooler weather and some shade, so that's good. And I want to have a look. So yes, my heart does go out, but I'm also looking at the positives of it. In exchange, our La Nina effect is starting to break down. It is expected to break down over this winter. I want to have a look to see whether it will then transfer over to the Californian side of the Pacific Ocean, because what usually happens is if one side's extremely wet, the other side's extremely dry, and then when the weather patterns changes, we switch. So it does also mean that at the moment Eastern Australia is extremely wet, Western Australia is extremely dry. So I'll have a quick look at that first up. So just tell me, once the La Nina, always get them mixed up, the La Nina effect breaks down on Eastern Australia, the wet season. Once the wet breaks down on Western Australia, will it move to be wet on the west coast of the United States? Horrific droughts, horrific bushfires for several years. I have read on it specifically. Here's the water here. Both episodes are extremely emotional for both sides of the Pacific, but this is an overflowing of water, which is what we're seeing at the moment. But will it transfer? I'm drawn actually to the moons going from one side to the other, so I'm thinking that's a yes, that the wet season will flow over to the west coast of the US within the next, I'll say 24 months. 24 months will the wet from Eastern Australia go to Western US within the next 24 months. Also means Western Australia will become wet while on the east we're dry out. But will the wet weather go from east to west in the next 24 months? Takes a while for the systems to break down and then rebuild, but will the wet go from east to west in the next 24 months? East to west in the next 24 months. Oh, still muggy, cards are still sticking. East to west in the next 24 months. Right, let's have a look. Oh, okay, we have the two aces, ace of fire, ace of water. They're both telling me that yes, be careful what you wish for. Yeah, but again, another water. And it's telling me the water system will end. Again, be careful what you wish for, and it will pass from one side to the other. So, yeah, I am seeing it. However, it's going to come at you very quickly, very harshly. Defend yourself, make some choices, So I'm in the bedroom again where it's a little bit darker. But yeah, it's leading to a new abundance. Leading to a new abundance, a new rebalancing. And yeah, it's heading overseas. So the wild weather is heading overseas. And yes, we do feel very strongly for you when we're in floods at the moment. So I'm basically getting this sort of one side is fire, one side is water. We are really feeling for you, and I'm sure in some ways you're really feeling from us as between the fire and the water. The system itself, the systems that we're under will end. The truth is they will come to an end, they will swap. But it is a case of being prepared. Always be prepared, whether it's drought or fire, be prepared. There's a new path that you are being given to follow. Will lead to replenishing of the water systems, a rebalancing of, the dry versus wet, a rebalancing. We are going to send it overseas. Your ship will come in. I did read a couple of weeks ago on the drought in Western US that's not going to be over anytime soon, and we are thinking of you. So what have I got here? I've got a lot of wands. The messages are going to come forward, and I've got several threes. So it may be 3 years, 36 months instead of the 24 months. So just please bear with it. Be prepared. Next thing I wanted to look at is that had come to my attention, that I had seen an article the other day in that young Russians are basically, as they love Russia, they love their mother country, but they have had enough of what's going on there at the moment, and they are leaving or considering leaving in droves. They don't want to be called up for conscription, which is understandable, to fight in a war that they are completely not interested in. And I'll just use my homemade intuition cards to just have a look about what's going on with the young Russians. I'll have a look a little bit later. I want to have a look at January the 6th, which is coming to television live near you. If I get time, I'll have a look at Miami condo that had collapsed, and they reached a settlement in regards to that, but as to whether any more will go down, we'll have a look at that, and lots and lots and lots of little bits. I want to have another look later this week at Kavanaugh on the SCOTUS. I want to have a look at the rejection of Trump's nominees, North Carolina, Nevada, Tennessee, Georgia, just to name a few. Have a look at Liz Cheney. So they'll come a little bit later in this week. We'll see how we go today. But please, Meister. The young Russians, the young, mobile, tuned in, engaged Russians who are aware of what is happening in the world, who don't believe what they are fed by propaganda, TV. Tell me what's going on with them at the moment. Tell me, we're hearing that they're wanting to leave. A lot of them are leaving Russia. Just tell me what's going on with them at the moment. What's going on with these young Russians at the moment? These young Russian men and women, they want to be able to live their lives. I don't think the US is the answer at the moment for them, but they want to be able to live their lives how they choose to live them, as long as they're not harming others. Tell me about these young Russians. Tell me about these young Russians. So home is the first card that has fallen out. They want somewhere stable and secure. They do love their homeland. It's not it is a voluntary thing if they leave, but they don't feel like it's voluntary. They feel like they have no choice. Okay, let's keep going with this story. So we've got the young Russians. They want somewhere secure. Oh, interesting. Okay. They want somewhere that they can call home, that they feel safe and secure, where when they can live their lives to their own agreement, to their own contracts. They can enter into contracts and choose which way their life can go. They want this choice to be able to make a convoluted life for themselves instead of being dictated to as to which job they will go into, as to what house they will live in, what they will do for their lives. They want the ability to have this freedom in their life, not bound by the government dictating what they can and cannot do. They feel it is the time, this is the future. This is not my aliens card, believe it or not, it's my futures card. They believe it's time that for their own futures that this ruler needs to be, now the authoritarian, that's the word I was after, the authoritarian king needs to be struck down. What have we got here? Okay, so we've got the stop. The stop, this is all about hard work. They want the slog to stop. They want the slogging away to stop. And they want to be able to create their own magic, to create their own happiness. They know it is just a drop by drop, but that's what they want. They want to be able to create their own happiness, their own magic, and they want the sadness to end. They want to end. They want the peace to be a no to sadness. Okay, so we have the health, not only with the work but their health as well. They don't have a very good healthcare system over there either, but they want, for the health of the country, they want the outing of the opulence and the comfort of the opulence. For the health, their health, and the health of their country, they want the comfort of the opulence out. Bullseye. Yes, got that right. They want things to be balanced, and they don't want their fate and destiny to be clouded any longer, to be under this cloud. Technology is bringing them the message that the government does not want them to hear. Now, if you think of this is a court jester, often known as the court fool, but when you cast your mind back to the jester's role in times of monarchy, etc., the jester's role was to tell the monarch in a humorous way or in a roundabout way or via a story the truth that the monarch would not necessarily accept from anybody else. So this is about the technology is bringing forward this truth, and it's coming quickly. So I've got this truth via technology coming quickly, and they are trusting this truth that they are hearing. Interesting, which is dividing the negative plus the country. Dividing the negative plus the country. So the older folk are still believing what they're told from the government because that's the way they're brought up and that's what they've always believed. But this new information that is coming forward quickly, they trust this, and it is dividing the negativity, but it's also bringing together the country. So dividing the negativity and bringing forward the country. Bringing the country together? I'll have a think on that. Okay, this line, what it's telling us is that the noise of the scientific developments that are coming forward for families, the scientific developments, networks, okay, the noise of the networks that are coming forward for families is growing slowly, and it is will destroy this intertwining. Now, the intertwining is what I'm getting for that is the intertwining of government and military to force, of the oligarchs and government, this intertwining. So this will bring forward this they're wanting to destroy this hierarchy that is holding the country back for a much brighter, a united future and base of the pack is yes. So it's basically telling me what the young people are wanting. It's not telling me how they're going to go about it. I might have a look at that and see how they're going to go about it. But this is what is happening with the young people in Russia at the moment. They know it's time for an end of this autocratic, of this authoritarian. They're listening to the news from overseas. They're trusting the technology. They're trusting the science, and they're what they are learning is that they're wanting to an end to the corruption and the excessive consumption by a few, where the many suffer. So I just want to have a look to see how will the young Russians go about this. Tell me, Master, how will the young Russians go about this? How will the young Russians go about this change that they are desperately wanting? How will they go about this change that they are desperately wanting? How will they go about this change that they are desperately wanting? How will they go about this change they are desperately wanting? Yes, I know you're looking for a particular card, aren't you? How will they go about this change they are desperately wanting? Well, first of all, it's hard work. It's hard work. Through hard work. Through one rock at a time. Please tell me, Master, how will the young Russians go about this change? How will they bring about this change? How will they bring about this change? Masculine, how will they bring about this change? How will they bring about this change? How will they bring about this change? Okay, starting to get a picture here. Come on, Meister. Settle the cards for me. How will they bring about this change? Okay, there we go. Okay, so what we've got so far. It will be hard work, one rock at a time. They have to engage their own masculine energy, but the masculine energy also needs to soften itself if I'm looking at the colours of this cake, it's pink and purple, so that needs to, the outright masculinity needs to soften itself and celebrate the coming together of all the different layers. Technology, communication, technology will be, it's a blank card, deliberately blank. So technology will bring full illumination. Let's have a look at this. Okay, full illumination, and expose them to a past that they are not aware of. So they will find fear of this past that has really remained blank for them, that hasn't been disclosed. This silent past they'll actually be quite horrified by it. Okay, the world will bring in this security for them through growth and trust. Down of peace, okay. Let's see if we can get another one on there. The swamp, okay. So the world itself will be in their homes via this technology. Growth and trust. Growth and trust. I'm not sure why there's a down there in regards to the peace and the swamp. Well, I'll keep going. I'll think about that. Okay. So what we've got here, I might get a clarifier on that. I'm not sure why. Oh, okay. When Russia goes down in peace, when it goes down in peace, there will be this instance. The swamp, no. Full. Okay, so when Russia goes down in peace, which sounds really bizarre, when the swamp is no longer, and the cup is full, and word is spread that the poverty caused by the rulers, and then we've got the feminine. Stopping of this intertwining, stopping of this poverty, bringing in this, okay, this is a dog welcoming you home, this is the loyalty, this is the excitement, is the key, the message and the noise that's coming forward. It's all a bit confusing because it is a confusing situation, but the message is, okay, so they need to stop the intertwining of the, like the oligarchs and the government, etc., that is leading to poverty and the loyalty of this. The key will be the messages that are loudly brought forward. What have we got here? Okay, Master, what are you telling me here? So we've got this networking. This networking will be slow, but it's also technology. The advancement of, sorry, can you guys see that, or have I got a little bit down? The technology forward will be slow, too slow for some, but the strength is yes in building this solid foundation, and the anger will lead to rebuilding via trust. Trust and unity. Trust and unity. Base of the pack we have the masses. So it's not again, not really telling me how. I'm not sure whether they know yet how, but what I'm really getting out of that, it is word of mouth. It is rejecting the intertwining of government, of state and church, of state and corruption, government and corruption, oligarchs. It's rejecting that. It is about advancing the technologies of the country. Huge untapped base there. But it is really about educating people coming together and building communities. Now, above the fifth column often talks about community building, and this is exactly what he's talking about. It's about assisting your fellow man to drag themselves up out of the gutter and become contributing members, and then then assist their fellow man or collection of people to draw them back up as well. So it's all about breaking down this top-down system and creating a bottom-up system. So we've got that. What else did I want to look at? I wanted to look at 25 minutes. Okay, this will be the last one. The Miami condo collapse. I'll tackle all the political stuff tomorrow. So I want to have a look at the Miami condo collapse. Now this it was a condominium near the beachfront in Miami that collapsed without so-called warning, killing I don't know how many, I hate to think, and just announced the other day was a $997 million settlement. Now whether that ever gets paid or not I don't know, but I just want to have a look at whether there will be any more issues with the condominiums, which we would call a high-rise apartment building here in Australia. The grounds that they're built on are not necessarily particularly stable because they are sandy foundations on waterfront, and with rising sea levels due to climate change. Okay, but I just want to have a quick look because the building companies have now been warned. They now know. If you've got any information you'd like to share on them, please let me know. Okay, tell me about the Miami waterfront high-rise apartments. I'll call them high-rise apartments because that's the language that I understand. Tell me about the waterfront Miami high-rise apartments. Tell me about the waterfront Miami high-rise apartments. The Miami high-rise apartments. Miami high-rise apartments. Okay, let's have a look. Oh, that's not a good card to pull out first, is it? It's deceit, betrayal, sabotage, taking off with picking up the remnants after a battle, but for greed purposes, not for good. Oh, and anxiety. Well, they're not particularly good cards to pull first up, but okay. I don't know if I'd be buying one. I don't know if I'd be living in one. Base of the reading, we have the Ace of Wands, which usually means a new start, in the past defending. So whether this is caused by the collapse and the subsequent payout, but there was this defending going on in the past. And this is this new start now in the current. So we'll keep going. Oh, okay. I wouldn't be buying one and I wouldn't be living in one. This is lies, deception, stealing from the armoury, taking off with the goods that don't belong to you. There is work going on behind the scenes, potentially by engineers looking at what's left. External influences are really this walking away. If you have one, I would strongly suggest that maybe I can't give you real estate advice. You have to decide for yourselves on the information that you've got. Internal influences is success, so that's looking up. But I don't know that it's a comfortable success. I'm looking at this horse as he's parading down the street. So there might be a feeling of security. There. The lawmakers will be involved to ensure that this work is done to the extent that they can be. to make sure that these buildings are safe and secure. The eventual outcome is we have temperance, which is all about a rebalancing and moderation. Harsh truth, and the harsh truth will come forward via some legal action. That what I'm seeing, the lawmakers will put in place the laws, and then there will be this rebalancing via a harsh truth with investigations and legal action taking place. But also this is very much about wisdom, a wise overseer. So I would, as something is going to be revealed about the money that has been made from these, and they are what is sown will be reaped. So the building of these condominiums really, these high-rise apartments really came down to building intergenerational wealth, building money, but they will reap what they have sown. Base of the pack, we have the heartbreak and loss, the giving and receiving help, and the star of hope. So it will be burdensome, but it will bring about authentic reform, endings and beginnings in authentic reform. So I'm actually thinking, Meister, we had this agreement that he had to tell me during a reading what I needed to know, because he had a habit of telling me afterwards. So we had a bit of a discussion, and now, yes, he does tell me. What I am getting here is that there are some condominiums, some high-rise apartments that are going to be declared unsafe. Unsafe as these engineers, these builders, etc., look into them, and that people are going to have to walk away from them. They are going to bring about a court case for compensation, which is where the lawmakers come in. This is how I'm reading it, that the lawmakers will come in, because you've got these cards at the beginning. These cards at the beginning. These are the ones that built these towers. They built these towers. One collapsed. There was this realization that something needed to be done about it, that a new beginning needs to really look keenly into it. They were defending themselves, but this is in the past with this compensation settlement. So they're now brought in these experts to look at the construction, look at the engineering, the stability, are they safe basically. There will be some that will be declared unsafe. Legal action will be brought forward. There will be messages of having to move on. Some uncertainty. You've got the lawmakers coming in who will make a rebalanced law, but the harsh truth is it's going to have to go through the legal system. There are going to be some surprises that will come out about the building of this wealth. This is my actual card for the oligarchs, so it may be that they're not even owned within the US, which will make legal matters extremely difficult, and it is a case of reaping what was sown. Then I have the heartbreak, giving and receiving help, which I think is going to be compensation that is going to come out. However, you have this wealthy overlord, or whatever you like to call him, doling out pittances to these people here. However, keep the hope. Keep the hope. It will turn out okay. But you do have this disappointment and loss and heartbreak. So whether the compensation is enough, it is going to be burdensome, but it is going to lead to authentic change. So, yeah, I can't see, I don't have anything tower moment or anything. I can't see any more falling down. I just see that there will be some investigation into it, and some of them will be found to be lacking. We have the same in Australia, in Sydney during the boom. We had some rather dodgy developers throwing up high-rise apartment buildings that had barely sold out. They then closed down the company, so to speak, and then the buildings end up massive foundation issues, which have ended up in making the apartment buildings unlivable without huge expense. And because the development company has wound itself up, there is no recourse for the owners of the properties. So I'm seeing something similar in the US, where there will be found shortcuts made, but there is no one to actually prosecute in regards to it. They will try and prosecute. The outfall from what happened in Australia is that builders now have to put into a special fund that will compensate people if they are caught in this particular situation, which is a bit unfair for those that do the right thing. But I'm seeing something similar in the US, where the government will come to the party and recompense some of the monies that is lost. So, sorry if I'm sounding... It's actually going to be a really hot day today, and I'm feeling muggy and sticky already. So, after cold and rain, welcome to Australia's autumn. So thank you for joining me today. That was a bit of a mixed bag today. I'll tackle all the political stuff tomorrow. So roll my eyes and and mutter away at them. Al would love to see you along then. Join me if you wish. If you have any questions, please pop them below. I'm keeping an eye on what's going on with, is it Finland and Russia? I didn't realise you guys shared such a long border. What is it, 1,300 miles, is it? Or 1,300 kilometres? A really long shared border. I haven't seen any threat to Finland other than the sabre rattling, etc. I think Finland itself is too intertwined in the EU for Russia to really push back on, to really attack. I just see that Russia, Sweden and Finland have too much support behind them. Russia knows that if they go in, the world is in. So, deep breath, everybody. Positive thoughts. As I said, with all the flooding, the Great Artesian Basin is filling up. It was getting pretty dry there. Massive underground water system under most of Australia. 3 years for California. Wish we could send some over. And we'll see you tomorrow. Okay, take care. Bye-bye.